Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Shad, and today we have to talk about that Nuggets versus Timberwolves Christmas game because, my God, Nikola Jokic is not a real human being. And Jamal Murray right behind him. We'll talk about Jamal Murray in a little bit, but this is definitely a Jokic video. What more do you say about a guy who keeps outdoing his own excellence? What more do you say about a guy who managed to win a Christmas game at home down 3 starters? What do you say about a guy who, 1, scored the 3rd most points in an NBA Christmas game, 2, scored the most overtime points in a game ever, and 3, sorry, not even and 3 because there's more, 3, had a 32-13-13 stat line after 3 quarters. And 4, what more do you say about a man who has done 40-10-10s, 60-10-10s, 30-20-20s, 35-20-15s? Like, name whatever variation of a triple-double that you can think of, and I guarantee you Nikola Jokic has either done it or come close, dangerously close to doing it. That guy, that same guy, managed to set another record. 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists at the end of the game. That is a stat line that has not been done before. Again, he keeps doing it. And Peyton Watson had a really good quote about this. He said that he's tired of acting not surprised by this stuff.
Nah, bro. I'm tired of not being surprised. That shit surprised me, bro. We can't continue to just dismiss what this guy does on a night-to-night basis. I think, bro, it's unbelievable.
And I think that's a very good sentiment because while I'm trying to find the words to describe exactly how I feel, it all comes down to a mix of 2 emotions. One is just pure shock and awe. Seeing those gaudy numbers that I put up in 2K in real life is crazy to see. And it's also a mix of general disbelief. I've been a fan of him. I've been a fan of this team for a couple years now. And despite all that time, things like this keep on just showing up and making me question is this real? Did he actually do this? Like, did I just watch him score 56 points in a triple-double win against one of their biggest rivals ever? I did. I really did. And it's crazy. Tim Hardaway Jr., 19 points in this game. He only made 3 threes. He was the 3rd leading scorer on the Nuggets. I have been so overly impressed with what his production level has been this season. There was a part of me that was a little worried coming into the year that he would regress a little bit. You know, watching a game like this, you realize that, oh, he's doing more than just being a catch and shoot threat. He's doing more than just being a 3-point shooting threat. So in this game, when you see moments where he's doing a DHO with Jonas Valanciunas, getting into the mid-range, probing into the mid-range, and taking a really good elbow shot, you look at that with a smile on your face. You're like, oh, okay, thanks, THJ. Especially in a game where offense is not coming from many places besides Jokic and Murray, someone else had to step up, especially if the Wolves were going to continue to send 2 or 3 players at both of those guys all night long. Someone else had to score the basketball. And Tim Hardaway Jr., off of the catch and off of the dribble, was able to make some shit happen. And I cannot praise him enough for that. This is a very, very tiny thing that I wanted to talk about or include just passively, but Peyton Watson entry passes to the post have been such a joy to see. It's a very small thing, again, but it's a very important trait because, you know, a lot of people in the Nuggets sphere have recognized this fact that a lot of people just can't throw a proper entry pass. And it's very weird because we're talking about NBA players here, but it's just a thing that has been going on for a while. And to see just yet another person on this team able to get the ball into Jokic when they have position down low is just beautiful. Either bounce passes around pressure to get the ball into the paint or passes above a fronting defender on Peyton Watson's post guy. Like, he has done a very good job of that one specific skill that I feel like it was warranted a little bit. And I really wish I remembered the specific entry pass that made me put this into my notes. But if it comes to my head, I'm sure it'll be on the screen. But right now, it just isn't. Like I said, this was a game of runs. This was a game of two teams that are rivals, that know each other very well, that play each other very well, and ultimately results in a lot of good games between the two. The game as a whole, for a Christmas game, was exciting as hell. Despite what the numbers are going to say in comparison to the NFL slate, this game was probably the best game all day. And not even probably. This was definitely the best game all day long, but across both of the sports. But yeah, back to the game. Sorry, back to the game. The Wolves in that fourth quarter went on a 16-2 run to cut the game to 1. Jamal Murray answers immediately with a 3 off of the inverted pick and roll. And this was kind of the story of this game. It's the answers back to the Wolves' runs. Because as I said, it was Jamal and Jokic for 119 points of the team's 142. So every time the Wolves went on a run, every time the Wolves got themselves a little cushion, it was either Jamal Murray coming back into the game to quell all that, like he did in the fourth quarter, or it's Jokic completely taking control of the area or of the game in that moment. And like you saw the pressures of having such a shortened rotation, you saw that effect start to play out in that fourth quarter. Like I said, the Wolves went on a 16-2 run. You start running out of gas toward the end of the game, and it is what it is. It makes comebacks more likely. If you're going to be missing 3 high key players on your team, it's just bound to happen that you're going to run out of steam at some point. But despite running out of steam, and despite, again, being shorthanded, the Nuggets, Jamal and Jokic, just ended up pulling through, and they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and said, hey, we win in this game. We are going to win this game no matter what, even if Jokic has to score 18 points in overtime, which let's talk about overtime real quick. Nuggets go to OT, find themselves down by 9 with 3 minutes to go. The Wolves, again, go on a crazy run. They start turning defense into really easy offense. They start on an 8-0 run, and everything just kind of looks like it's failing. Everything looks like it's heading to the path of the Wolves, and they're going to walk out of here with an on-the-road Christmas Day victory. That's when Nikola Jokic decided to step up. After the Wolves go on that run, and they're up by 9 with 3 minutes to go in OT, Jokic hits a 3, cuts it down to 6. Nuggets get a stop, come down the court. THA hits a 3, makes it 3. Nuggets come back again. Jokic hits another 3. Jokic again hits a floater. Are you seeing the theme here? I want to, yes, it does surprise me. It surprises me greatly to, why is someone able to score almost 20 points in 5 minutes in an overtime game against a rival, against the center on the other side who is competing again for Defensive Player of the Year, but also still can't hang with Jokic? Sidetrack, sorry. The Rudy Gobert, brother, I have 47. It feels like every time these two come up against each other, that graphic just gets a little bit more painful to look at. Because it's like, yeah, that has been the theme for so many years now. I got him. Brother, I have 56 points. Brother, I have a 50-point triple-double. You're not stopping anything. You're not here. You don't got me. You don't. I don't know. That's just, I'm sorry. That was just really funny. I had to mention that. But yeah, back to overtime. There was one point in this game, the score was 126 to 128. And there were 56.4 seconds left on the clock. These two teams combined for 26 points in under 1 minute of game time, which is just, it's mind-blowing because I'm sure this isn't the first time something like that has happened. I don't have a stat or a history book to reference in terms of most points scored in under a minute in an overtime game. I don't have that number available to me. But I can't imagine that there are more games that have scored almost 30 points in under a minute collectively. And that speaks to the intensity of this matchup, not to mention the fact that Anthony Edwards got ejected in overtime. It's crazy. And speaking of crazy, Jamal Murray's 3 to go up 131 to 128, that one sent chills down my spine.
Jokic setting the screen, Murray letting fly, hits the triple with 35 seconds to go in overtime.
Because that motherfucker has been so cold this season. And I mean that in a great way. He has been lethal. We know who Jamal Murray is in the clutch. But when he's hitting threes late in the game, turning around and staring at the crowd and slowly walks back down the other end, that's an aura moment. That's an aura moment that really, it gets me up. It gets me going. And then the play after that, the immediate play after that three, Jamal and Jokic off of an Anthony Edwards pick and roll, they blitz Ant as he comes off the screen. He passes it out, tries to get it to Jaden McDaniels in the middle, and there's Peyton Watson ready to muddy the play up. And not only did they cause the turnover, they also had an offensive foul called on Jaden McDaniels. And when I tell you that those chills might have been a little bit more intense than Jamal Murray 3-1. Because it's like, oh my fuck. We're actually about to do it again. We're actually about to, with our backs against the wall, pull out a W. A mix of perfectly timed defense with very timely shot making from two of the best shot makers in the NBA led to the Nuggets being able to walk away with this win. I keep saying like these, shit, like it's crazy. Like I keep saying these short phrases because I'm really, really, really still trying to find the words for what that game was. It was one of the best games that I've seen this season. It's one of the best Jokic games I've seen ever. And this isn't even to mention the other side of it. Ant had 44 points. Julius Randle, I believe, had 32? This was a game. This was a fucking game. And I am so happy that I got to watch it. It really just comes down to shock and awe because I can't keep explaining how good Jamal and Jokic are together. I said this in a TikTok that I put out today, but I said that I thought that I already thought all that I could think about these two. Every now and then, they just keep on showing me more. And I'm so happy that that's my experience as an NBA team fan. Every now and then, they keep on adding more fuel to the fire. They keep exceeding my expectations. We're now 3-0 against the Timberwolves this year. Do you know how crazy that is? A team that for the life of us, we have struggled so much against for the last 2 seasons. We are 3-0 on them. And won a game where we didn't have the entire middle of our starting lineup. It was Peyton Watson and Spencer Jones that stepped up. It was Tim Hardaway Jr. that stepped up. It was the defense at certain points of the game, despite giving up 138 points. There were some very key defensive stops in that game. And it's lending itself to this bigger belief that, oh, this is for real, like, the Nuggets have an actual shot at this. Because you look at this game, this is not a slouch of an opponent. This is the Timberwolves, a team that was, 20-12 coming into this game? Or 20-10 coming into this game? Like, they're jockeying for position as well, and they can't afford to lose games, so they brought their best. And despite us not having our best, we were able to beat the Timberwolves' best. And I think that goes so far in terms of believing what the ceiling of this specific 25-26 Nuggets roster is. Because, granted, for the next few weeks, Jamal and Jokic are probably going to have to replicate this at least once in order to pull out a win against a very good team. But if they are able to steady the ship and keep the ship afloat in the time that we're letting our starters rest, I feel pretty damn good about a matchup against the Thunder. I feel pretty damn good about a matchup against the Rockets or the Spurs. There's a reason why Nuggets fans, a lot of the initial responses to these questions about the team's validity goes back to, well, we have Jokic. And even I, in the last few years, have been trying to be like, okay, yes, we have Jokic, but and what? Like, we need a little bit more than Jokic in order to compete against certain matchups. Who else is going to do it? And in those years that I was asking that question, it was Jamal Murray who wasn't stepping up to the plate in the way that we all knew that he could, especially during the regular season. It was the rest of the rotation that wasn't stepping up to bat when we needed them the most. It became the Jokic show. And even in that time, we were still winning games. So I understand why so many Nuggets fans have made their number one response to these things because we have Jokic. Because Jokic is not a human being. Jokic is an otherworldly basketball player. A player who has mastered his craft so fucking much that he is setting and breaking his own records. He is now just 2 triple doubles away from being second on the all-time list. Jokic is about to pass that. It's like, fuck. I almost feel like I'm underappreciating him at this point. I feel like I don't want to say that I'm taking him for granted, but I do feel like sometimes I take him for granted, especially during the games, because there's a lot of times when I'm watching an NBA game, I don't necessarily pay attention to the box score. I'm surprised at the numbers that I see because I just truly have not been keeping up with the box score during the game. Checking Jokic's stat line after a game is kind of just like a slap in the face. 56. 32, 13, and 13 in 3 quarters. Most points scored in an overtime period ever. A man who already has 3 MVPs in a championship is managing to elevate his game in so many ways. Elevating his standard of play in so many ways. Setting new benchmarks for himself. Numbers that he doesn't even sneeze at anymore. 32, 13, and 13 is someone's best career game ever. And for Jokic, it was just a 3-quarter performance against the Timberwolves. Genuinely, what else do you say about that? What else do you say about a guy who keeps getting greater? We want to have all-time conversations. Let's start at top 20, because I think that's a very, very comfortable range for Jokic to be in right now. We can talk about top 15 at the end of the season. We can talk about top 10 depending on what happens in this playoff run. But regardless of where the conversation starts for you, Nikola Jokic's greatness is not real. This is a level of greatness that I truly am not sure we're going to see. Outside of maybe a very, very few select players that come across this league, Wemby being one of them, maybe Cooper Flagg being another, I don't think Jokic performances are going to be replicated. And as a fan, I am blessed. I am honored, and I am just so happy that this is my experience. I am so happy I get to watch my team rise above the occasion, rise to the occasion, and beat a rival shorthanded. I'm blessed, and I'm honored, and I'm happy.